At Women's Health Goulburn Northeast, we believe in the power of coming together to drive positive change in our communities. So tonight we're taking an important step on our journey by launching our gender justice theory of change. Our theory of change covers the breadth and depth of our work, and as such, it's a pretty solid read, and we would love you to dive in. The link will be shared in the chat. Over the next few months, we'll be featuring the work across our social media. We'll be highlighting key areas and showing it how it applies to the work that we do. But for tonight, we have two of our team members, Emma and Nisy Jose, to present an overview of the work. Before the team take you through this work, however, Tammy Atkins is going to guide us through this roadmap for our organisation's future. Tammy brings valuable expertise in regional development and has a proven track record of bringing ideas to life in regional communities. The thing I love about working with Tammy is her deep knowledge of our work, her enthusiasm and her curiosity. So please join me in welcoming Tammy. Over to you. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you very much, Amanda, and good evening, everyone. I'm thrilled to see so many faces supporting Women's Health Goulburn Northeast tonight. Let me just quickly outline our agenda. I'll set some context for this part of the event. Emma and Nisy, Regional Manager for Special Projects, will then present the Gender Justice Theory of Change. Nisy Sarajos, our Health Promotions Officer, will share a case study, and then we'll open the floor for questions. We have made a promise to have you out tonight on time by 7, and our team has put a lot of effort into their presentations. So if we don't have time for questions or we don't get to your question, take this as an invitation to get in touch and start a conversation tomorrow or later in the week. Your feedback, curiosity, and of course your absolutely brilliant ideas are always welcome. So now, why are we here? Well, it's because despite significant progress, the work of Women's Health Goulburn Northeast is far from over. Gender inequality persists in our region, affecting women's health, economic opportunities and safety. And in 2024, I think we all agree that our postcode shouldn't determine our access to services or our quality of life, but it does. Being rural adds another layer of complexity to the issues women face. And this intersection of gender, location, and other factors like race, disability, or sexuality create unique challenges that require targeted solutions. And it's important, I think, to understand that gender justice is the core mission of Women's Health Goulburn Northeast. So this gender justice theory of change we're launching tonight is the organisation's framework to achieve that mission. It's a how document, it's a logic, it's a way of thinking through the processes and the pathways that the organisation is going to take to work towards equality and justice for all women in our region. And as we explore this framework tonight, I encourage you to consider how it relates to your experiences and the changes you hope to see in our region. Now, let's get to it. I'm really pleased to introduce Emma and Nisy, Regional Manager Special Projects at Women's Health Goulburn Northeast, who will walk us through the details of this really important initiative. So Emma, over to you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Tammy, and thank you all. Before I begin, may I echo my acknowledgement of country. So I am today on the lands of the Peekarong people of Eastern Maar Nations. So that's in southwest Victoria in Warrnambool. May I echo the beautiful acknowledgement that Amanda shared at the beginning, and may we continue to walk together with the traditional custodians of this land. So Women's Health Goulburn Northeast have developed this gender justice theory of change to basically provide a guide from where we are, our current practice, to our future vision. We have a long history of progressing change to improve women's lives, and as our way of working and our work has evolved in recent years, it's timely to review how our new approach leads to the change we seek to create. So a theory of change is a well-evidenced tool for mapping change in trying to solve complex social problems. So to help you understand this gender justice theory of change, we have woven a metaphor through the report and through this evening's presentation. So picture yourself standing tall and still, feeling the earth beneath your feet, the rustle of the leaves and the trees around you, and you're by a river or a stream. You can look up and see a mountain in the distance. Now start to ponder how you'll find your way to the mountain. To get there, we must navigate through the stream. We do this, we must carefully place individual stepping stones. Just a little side note, Nisy and I have moved these stepping stones around and about a lot. So powerfully, the placement of these stones support and interact and connect with each other. They don't exist in isolation. Each single stone is needed to get to the next. Each stone forges a path through the current stream and towards our vision. So as we move into this presentation, I'll start to talk about these stepping stones as our change statements, as the change we're working towards. So please hold this metaphor in mind as we start to make our journey through the theory of change. As we begin at this near shore, something really critical to speak to is the body of work described as Women's Health Goulburn North East's a way of working. So after some growth and reflection, Women's Health Goulburn North East have distilled and brought together what guides and informs decisions, and this is in the heart of the theory of change. So what makes up these ways of working are our values, so including self-awareness, listening, our aspirations, the long-term structural sort of changed landscape up ahead, a deep commitment to our feminist approach, to intersectionality, to making sure that our work is best practice and evidence informed, and that it is systemic. It is striving for structural change. It is a systems approach. So living and integrating our ways of working truly sits at the heart of this theory of change. Skipping to the next slide to our theory of change. Alas. So if you are tech savvy, you might be walking along with me through the report. If so, the full theory of change is on page 8 and 9. We couldn't quite collect it all here. What I want to speak to next is how we built this theory of change. In short, it's carefully, slowly, through much iteration and together. So first we started with the outer edges, like I've spoken of, the near shore. We needed to understand where our journey begins. Then we needed to look to, and through workshopping and thinking and stretching our minds and hearts, we looked forward to the far horizon. It's actually from this far horizon that you start to dream up, think about, interrogate, pull together our body of work to work out where you place the stepping stone. So you map backwards from the big vision. We also had to be clear of other boundaries for our work, so our funding guidelines, our geography, and notably our strategic plan. Beautifully, the strategic plan positions Women's Health Goulburn North East work through 4 key roles: through listening, through evidence, through collaboration, and through advocacy. So these become the pillars, the scaffold for our theory of change. We added 2 more along the way. One was a leadership pillar, a pillar that recognised that we do the internal work to ensure we have the skills, the knowledge, the expertise to realise the change we're seeking. We also created another pillar which was about collaboration, relationship, because everything we do together, and we do to realise change in other organisations, in other settings, in other places. So that is the landscape. That's the sort of the terrain. And next, we're going to start to explore the placement of these stepping stones. So again, if you're following along, what's really important, if you're still on page 8 or 9, is you need to start at the bottom. You start at the bottom when you're reading this theory of change to understand where we are and see how you walk upon each of these stepping stones towards that far horizon. It's really a way to be confident that the work we do now will realize the big vision. It's not as simple to evaluate and track change in the complexity and breadth of work that we do. Pillar 1, listening. You've already heard this echoed through this evening's presentation. Listening is so central to the work of Women's Health Goulburn North East. What's critical here is listening to women, ensuring their voices and experience shape our work, shape our advocacy, listening deeply to our partners, making sure this listening enriches our impact. We've also located our commitment to intersectionality here. So in this area, making sure we can translate our community consultation framework into the work, our reconciliation action plan, our disability inclusion work, and the critical work of elevating the experience of women living in rural and regional areas. So as this body of work matures, we'll be able to demonstrate how women's voices and experiences shape our work, our health promotion activity, our advocacy, and gradually start to track how listening to women contributes to the impact of our work. Wild, amazing. Moving on, pillar 2, leadership. Central here is integrating, is living, is ensuring our way of working washes across planning, policy, operations, and governance. So Women's Health Goulburn North East maturing approach to the work has inspired a reflection on our skills, our expertise, and the fit that's required for staff and board to be set up for success. So through this period, we're going to invest more in growth, development, and integration of the feminist and values-based approach. Underpinning impact for women is built upon an organisation built upon excellence. Pillar 3, evidence. Our work is best practice, drawing from and contributing to the evidence. We use data, we use evidence across the policy, planning, and operations, and we evaluate our work for impact. One thing I want to pause and echo here is this beautiful theory of change provides a guide, and it's building on strong foundations. So this work is underway. It's already deeply within what you see, what Women's Health Goulburn North East delivers. It's just ensuring that we keep building, that we keep moving and looking forward. So key work here in the evidence space is deepening and strengthening our evaluation, is bravely defining the gender transformative practice in our context. What does that mean? How can we show you? And how will that equal change? And then for the population and for the systems, for the structures, ambitious and amazing. Next, pillar 4, mobilise others. As I spoke about before, this is a beautiful companion to our partnership. Our aim here is to be known and trusted to produce high quality and practical tools and resources. We'll expand our library, more e-learning, more training, more publications, more data summaries in service of, to use, to support, to enrich and inform the work of others. We will listen to our partners, and we will make sure that the training, the resources and advice we build is effective, it works. We're even going to bravely strive to track how partners develop their skills, their confidence and expertise to take change in their workplaces. Jumping forward, pillar 5, collaboration. The heart of everything we do. We've sort of touched on this with talking about mobilising our partners. Here we're talking about how we bravely think about our enriching and informing the work we do together with partners, enriching and forming the activity we do, and being confident that the maturing relationship actually progresses work with impact. Quite a beautiful demonstration that the deeper our relationships, the greater the results, the greater the progress we make across the stepping stones. The final pillar is called advocate. Advocacy, structural, law, policy reform it provides the most powerful transformation and change. So it's informed by the other pillars. We walk across here, the data, the evidence, the listening, the partnering to get to the advocacy. So our refreshed comms will keep elevating that we're seen, we're understood, we're trusted. We will keep bringing new discourse, new perspectives. We will inform submissions, policy plans in our region, at the state level and at the national level. So I'm about to conclude. As I conclude, may I echo, really, Women's Health Goulburn North East is built upon a history of advocacy led by and for women to create a better world. We stand on the shoulders of giants. The development of this theory of change has taken time, commitment, and much iteration. And we now look to you, our partners, our community, our friends and colleagues, to sit together, in time walk together, and over time take the steps necessary to move us towards our vision. So stay tuned, there's more to come. The growth from here will expand and, as always, be together. We're very proud to present this body of work and very much look forward to working with you to build on these strong foundations. I'm going to hand back to Tammy now and thank you.
Thank you, Emma. What I've understood is that this theory of change is how we work. It's our best practice, and it's a very fancy way of showing that by listening to women and working together, we can promote equality and improve life for rural women, making our communities healthier and fairer for all. That's how I understood it anyway. There's been a really big investment in this work. So how exactly does this theory of change help women? Well, as we know, theories and frameworks come to life through real-world examples, which is why I'm really excited now to introduce our next speaker. Nisy Sarajos will present a case study that illustrates how the theory of change is being put into practice. And case studies like this are invaluable for helping us understand the tangible impact of Women's Health Goulburn North East work in our communities. And Nisy's dedication and hard work in preparing this case study is greatly appreciated, as it offers us a window into the real world application of the principles we've just heard about from Emma. So Nisy, thank you for your efforts, and please, over to you.
Thank you, Tammy, for your kind words. And thank you, Emma, for providing such an insightful overview of how we actually developed our theory of change. Your presentation beautifully captured the essence of our journey upon which we will be building our future initiatives on, and we're currently working on. Today, I will walk us through how our theory of change would work in practice, focusing on our change statements and how that will help us achieve our short-term vision and ultimately our long-term vision. One such change statement we will explore today is change statement 4.4, partners develop and use gender equity expertise with the support of our resources. This change statement is very important to us because we've seen a great impact with our partners in the gender justice space by sharing knowledge, engaging in respectful conversations, being active, and collaborating effectively by leveraging each other's resources and expertise. This kind of work actually creates intentional transformations within the system. And we encourage everyone to be part of this collective impact across the region towards gender equity. Before I dive into the implementation plan for change statement 4.4, I would like to take some time to provide some context on how we developed our change statements, which is the stepping stones. Firstly, each change statement were crafted through a systemic analysis of our entire body of work, carefully refined to align with our 2021 to 2025 strategic plan and health promotion plan. Secondly, each of the change statements were designed to guide us towards achieving our short-term objectives, which would then ultimately support our long-term vision, that is, ensuring optimal health and well-being for rural and regional women of all ages. Thirdly, each change statement was tested to confirm that it's realistic, it fits within our boundaries, it reflects our values, which is feminist and values-based approach, while encompassing the whole body of Women's Health Goulburn North East's work. Change statement 4.4 highlights a commitment to equipping our partners with the tools and knowledge in advancing gender equity. It also reflects a commitment to translating theoretical knowledge into effective practices through our tailored training programs, interactive workshops, and constant guidance through our Gender Equity Partnership Pathway. Bonus, we also provide courses within our Gender Equity e-learning platform. It is to note that all of our courses offered in the platform is developed with a rural lens. And if you're not familiar with our Gender Equity e-learning hub, I encourage you to have a look at it after our presentation today through our website. Now, let's look at the implementation plan for Change Statement 4.4. There are some key activities that we've already undertaken to implement this change statement, which is we actively collaborate and establish relationship with organizations that share our gender equity goals for our region, celebrating and promoting our services, forming meaningful relationships. We prioritize on building impactful, maturing partnerships over simply increasing the number of connections we have in the region. This ensures that we're continually learning from our partners, deepening our knowledge of our region, and building on our understanding of the needs that we need to advocate for. As I mentioned in the previous slide, we support our partners to advance the gender equity work by providing them with tailored resources, practical toolkits, and guidelines, complementing this alongside with interactive workshops and training to enhance their skills and knowledge. Lastly, to deepen the impact and sustain the progress of our work, we take time to nurture our long-term evolving collaborations with our partners. So what are the results of all these implementation plan and the change statement and the work we do? We will continue to establish impactful relationships and partnerships and document them according to our guidelines. This will deepen our relationship and again, strengthen our collaboration that we have in our region to advance the gender equity work. Through our evaluation methods, we will be able to identify how our partners have matured over time. And an example of this would be that we will look at how many individuals from partner organizations have used our resources, all the way from how we've developed it, creation, and all the way to implementation within the organization. We will have a significant increase in the uptake of our resources from the Gender Equity e-learning hub, and partners would have shown measurable improvements in their gender equity skills and knowledge through our tailored workshops and support from the Gender Equity Pathway. The implementation of sustainable gender equity practices within their organizations would drive actually a collective change toward gender equity for our region. As you can see, I've highlighted the implementation plan and results for Change Statement 4.4. Similarly, each change statement within the theory of change has its own specific implementation plan and expected outcomes that will come out of it, that will speak into the short-term and long-term vision. So to conclude, we recognize establishing meaningful and long-lasting relationships would take time, and partners may need time to engage with our resources, especially if they're not familiar with the gender equity work. However, despite these challenges, we remain committed to the work we do. And this theory of change represents the foundational stone upon which we will build our future initiatives, paving way for lasting change in our region. Thank you all for listening. I will now hand it back to Tammy.
Thank you very much, Nisy. And again, I've been reading the theory of change while both you and Emma have been talking. And the message I'm getting is that by working together with rural women and local groups, we can make real changes that create fairer, healthier communities for everyone. And that this is the framework that Women's Health Goulburn North East will use behind the scenes to make all those changes happen. So you'll be jumping those stepping stones and pushing those boulders, I can see in the image, out of the way. Nisy, like Emma, your passion and expertise really is shining through in this work, and it's great to see how this approach will shape the work of Women's Health Goulburn North East and make a tangible impact on our communities. It is coming close to 7 p.m, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Amanda, Emma, Nisy and the team. They'd be more than happy to discuss these questions or any of those thoughts that you may have. I'm happy to take questions. We are happy to take questions from the floor. So if you have any, please type them into the chat and we'll do our best to address as many as we can with the time we have left. And to get us started, I'd like to pose the first question to Emma. Emma, Given gender justice is at the very heart of everything that Women's Health Goulburn North East does, why is this theory of change needed?
Yeah, beautiful, Tammy. It's needed because the work we're doing isn't simple, and it's not possible just to show that Women's Health Goulburn Northeast work with partners is directly responsible for the kinds of shifts and changes that will help us realise a future where rural women have optimal health and well-being. So we need to build a theory of change that actually tests our work, tests the thinking, cobbles together a collection of change statements that walk us towards a future where women exist in a world where there is equality, where there is a dismantling of the structures and barriers that get in the way, that mean women can't fully participate in the workforce, can't access childcare, where they have full choices about sex and intimacy and reproduction. So it's about recognizing it's a complex path to the future we want to create, and we use the evidence-informed tools we've got at hand to interrogate, to test and build a path with the best evidence, with the best reflection and analysis of our work, to anticipate and clarify the way forward.
That's great. Thanks, Emma. And I can't see a question yet in the chat, so I'm going to throw to Amanda and put you on the spot. Amanda, how do you think this new approach might change the way Women's Health Goulburn North East, or how it will guide your working with your partners?
Thanks, Tammy. I actually don't think it will change what we're doing. I think what it does is highlights what we do, because as Emma said, it's really complex work. And that's not to say, aren't we smart, we're doing complex work. It's to say there is complexity in the way we live and the way we work and how our communities interact. So we want to highlight that complexity so that we can measure it, so that we can think about the impact that we're having on the community. So, and so that, you know, recognizing it is a pretty dense document and there are lots of stepping stones in there, but the fact is that we may work on just one of those stepping stones, one part of it with one partner. So this is about us keeping the big picture in mind, having a roadmap, but being able to focus on what we can do together today to make a change, so that those changes build up over time. And then one day we go, oh, you know, we don't have to be here anymore. We have gender equality. Thank you very much. Rural and regional women are living their best lives. We can stop now.
It's a great goal to have, putting yourself out of business. I think we all agree. Nisy, I'll throw to you. What do you think is the most important aspect of the theory of change for women in our community?
Thanks, Tammy, for the question. I think there's a lot of important aspects of the theory of change, but one particular one is we actually listen to the voices, the women in our region, really. That is one of the key pillars. That is, we want to be able to listen to women, and we want that to be reflected in the work very clearly. And all of the approaches in that kind of work, we believe that it will lead to meaningful and positive change for the women in our region.
So well said, and a really lovely way to close off the evening. Thank you very much. And thank you, Donna, for your comment in the chat about how mobilising others is a really strong pillar. We have a quick question from Maria. How can we do better coming from organisations to support your message? So how can our partners and our stakeholders support Women's Health Goulburn North East, Amanda?
I'm already off mute. Thank you, Maria, for that question. I think that it's continually keeping this work in your mind as you're doing your work. So, and reaching out, you know, and you already reach out, and we have a connection with you. And I think we just keep doing that. We just keep in mind that we need to think about gender as we do our work. And I think that that's the bit. And then you go, all right, how do I apply this? And I know that you've got some great skills in that area yourself, but I think that, you know, it's reaching out and going, hey, we're doing this piece of work. How can we collaborate on this? And I think that's it. That's how we can do it. Thank you, Maria.
Really well said, Amanda. And thank you, Amanda. And I'd like to extend a special thanks to Emma and Nisy for their excellent presentations and explanations tonight. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for the evening. Your support and your involvement is crucial in bringing this theory of change to life. So to formally close our event, I'll hand back to Amanda, our CEO, and thank you once again for being part of this important launch. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you so much, Tammy, for your beautiful work. Like I said in the beginning, you get it, and it's lovely to work with you, and you know our regions so well. So thank you so much. Thanks, Emma and Nisy. It's just beautiful. You know, Nisy particularly has been working on this project for quite a while. You've been there right at the beginning with that work, and Emma, you know, you've stepped in as well. So thank you for leading out the organisation to bring us to this point. I just want to thank each and every one of you for being with us tonight. It's just such a pleasure to see some very familiar faces, and some new faces as well. And I just want to echo what I said earlier. Please keep us in mind as you do your work, and reach out. We'll reach out to you. But please keep us in mind, because this is the work we all do together. We can't do this by ourselves. We all need to do it together. So thank you all very much. In that, I will say thanks again for spending your Monday night with us. That has just been lovely of you, and I look forward to seeing you all as we work together in the future. Thank you.